to the cloud. Yay.
Yay.
Where did my lighter go? Oh, it's gone now. That's okay. Because as you can see here, these are black candles, and I lit them for the dark goddess and just wanting to be here under the light of the full moon, or the weekend of the moon, to just be here. And I also have my diffuser going, so I've got like lots of essential oils. Ooh,
Yeah.
feels good. Okay, so this video is the first video for the pre-work video for the course Goddess in Training 2. Yay, I love it. So excited. Anyway, so I would like to start us off today with a prayer. So what we're going to do is we're going to place our hands on our vulvar area, right here on your pussy. Just put your hands on your pussy. And we're going to just sit there and just breathe in and just out. We'll just do a couple more. We're just going to ask her that she just help us to absorb information, and remember that she's the portal through which all worlds are birthed. And yes, I love it. Pleasure. Okay, so let's get into this. Making sexuality spiritual again. Oh, there go my shirts. Boobies like stuff. Actually, I think I'm gonna mute you because I love you so much. I'm gonna laugh whenever you laugh. Hold on, can you mute yourself? That would be super.
I can.
That would be really helpful. Okay, so let's get into the nitty gritty here, shall we? So we all know the story. We were created in an image, right? Men, but see, there's like men and then there's women. So when we were told this story, we were told this God, but there's nothing feminine about God. And that's okay that there's nothing feminine about God. And there's women. So where did the women come from? And I know that there's a whole story that concerns that. We'll get there in a second. But I'm going to just go ahead and say it. There's a goddess. Boom. There. Mic drop. And toss the cards out the window. I love it. But see, just like the yin yang, I used to wear a yin yang pendant. But just like the yin yang, there's the light and there's the dark. And it's not bad or good. It just is, right? It just is. And there's a little bit of dark in the light, and there's a little bit of light in the dark, and that's okay. I actually have this. This is my new, I got this for my two-year dreadiversary. It's a little like, I don't know if you can see him, but he's like a little Mayan man, and he's like, ah. And it's my little take on having my white, my little piece of white in my darkness. My partner has a black one, and his is his piece of black and his white, and I just love us. 2 years dreadiversary. Anywho, but that's what it is. Just like we have the sun and we have the moon. The sun, we love the sun because it's always there. The sun will come out tomorrow, and that's okay. The sun will come out. And the moon is always so variant in her phases, and that's also okay. The goddess, she's here. So let's start at the foundations. We've always been told the story. In the beginning, there was nothing, and la da 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 da, and then God made woman. Okay, so in the Bible, there's actually 2 stories of him creating woman. So the first one, he says, and he took a lump of clay, and from that he created man and woman, right? And then later on it goes on to say, and he took the rib from Adam and then created Eve. And that's cool. But I want to address the fact that these are 2 different women. Very different, very distinct. It's a different story. So who was this first woman? Lilith. I love Lilith. I feel Lilith so deep in my soul. Oh my goodness. I feel like the tall candle is for Lilith. But I feel Lilith so deep in my soul. And when we hear the stories of Lilith, she's like the demon queen, and she eats babies, and her children will suck your soul, and all of these things. And that's fine. That's fine. That's the story of Lilith. However, the true story of Lilith is just when Adam said, hey, let's do this sex thing. And then Lilith says, okay, you get down. And he's like, no, you get down. And she's like, no, you first. Yeah, I'm not getting down. He said he's not getting down. He would not submit to a woman. That's fine. She wouldn't do it either. So she went. She just left. Bye. Lilith is gone. And she goes on to have a fabulous life and other children. And, but the stories that were told about her is, she's this whore and she's bad. And, they demonized her. But in reality, don't we always, in our society, it's always like when a woman stands up and protects herself and doesn't bow down to anyone, isn't she always demonized? We call her bitch, we call her whore, we call her all sorts of names. We're going to get into whore too. Ooh, delicious. Anyway, so she's always torn down. We always tear down the women. Boop, that one's gone. Wait. I love myself. Anyway, so that was like, in terms of like the biblical sense, that was how we were that's the story here with Lilith. And then there's Eve. Nothing wrong with Eve. She's cool. She submitted, whatever. Sometimes you got to do what you got to do. I also want to make a fact that there's 2 starting women and then one man. I also want to just shout that out there. So let's talk about the serpent priestesses and the serpent cult. Now, these women were shrouded in red. This is ancient Sumeria, by the way. They're shrouded in red. They're praying to, okay, I had to look this up because I did not know how to pronounce it. Inanna. Inanna? Yes. Inanna, ancient Sumeria. Love them. They're shrouded in red, and red for the menstrual blood. Red for the menstrual blood. Right? Because Jesus even said this, that the blood holds power. And women menstruate. It's not, I don't want to say it's natural, but whatever. It's what we do now, okay? That's where we're at. We menstruate, whatever. Blood comes out of the mouth. But it's powerful. And so they were using this blood in all of their magic rituals. It was just, that's how things happen. That's how things work. These women were revered. They were bowed down to. They were modern day, the next step. They were the ones that communicated with the goddess, and they had this title, whore. H-O-R. It's pronounced whore. And it's to depict these women in, these amazing situations, and they're being revered, and which means also beloved ones. Just want to go ahead and say that, beloved ones. I can't wait to get called whore next. Like the next time, because I'll be like, oh, beloved one, hey, one of those things. But so these priestesses, some of the things that they would do, they would be children. Their children, they would have children with kings. They didn't do marriage, which is fine. They had children with kings, and their bloodlines were protected. Now, I cannot remember, I was looking this up, and I cannot remember the exact name. But anyway, so they were going to come in and they were going to invade a city, but they knew a whore lived there. So what they did was they had her gather up all her family, all her sons and daughters, her whole bloodline into one place. And they hung a red ribbon from the windowsill indicating, don't harm these people. And then they slaughtered the whole rest of the city. That whore and her family lived on. And apparently, I think she ended up becoming the mother of King David in the Bible. Anyway, so some of their ceremonies in the temple, they would do what we consider today kind of like a Kundalini rising exercise. But back in the day, they were squirting, okay? Squirting. And in some cultures, it's called nectar of the gods. And I think it's Ethiopia, where the men are they want to make the woman like squirt all the time, and then they drink it. Because back in the time of the serpent cult, they would drink it, and they would say that it would lengthen your life and all sorts of things. And if you have not looked up urine therapy, look into it. Dead serious. But so yes, we have the urine, we have things of we have the squirt, the nectar of the gods. It's amazing how all of these normal female things, they would do it, and they would hold it in reverence, and people would come and they would, beg to like get a taste of this, and they couldn't, because it was only reserved for the gods. And it's Kundalini energy. So the remnants of the society. So there are remnants of the society, and I do not know if you are familiar with, I'm just gonna go ahead and pull this image up. I don't know if you're familiar with this image here. This is the Knights Templar cross, and in this image we have the Holy Grail, and also the symbolism for the womb. And let's see, check my notes here. The symbolism for the womb and the fountain of youth. And then also it's mixing of the red and white to indicate the red for the menstrual cycle and the blood priestesses, and the priestesses, and then the white for the semen from the gods that the priestesses would copulate with, the kings and the men of power. And so the god Enki. So what? So that's great, Bradley. You told us a great story. What does any of this mean? I love this. The Knights Templar cross, seriously, it holds so much for me. And we all know the stories and the history of the Holy Grail. We all know that this is just something that's been ingrained deep within us. And so it's always kind of mysterious. And yet they leave us these symbols, and they knew that the cross would come down through generations. And it's just whenever I see it now, it's kind of just I see you, serpent cult. I see you, sex priestesses. I see you, and I feel you. I'm embodying you now. So what, right? But look where we are now. Just take a look at where we are today. So now we have things like religions, and the religions are kind of religions are a bastardization of how things used to be with the priestesses. It used to be there was the priestesses and the priests, and it was kind of very equal in things, if not the priestesses more so. And now it's kind of the men are the only ones that are allowed to speak in the church. And of course today, 2020, it's evening out. People are getting more into it. But when I was a child, when I was growing up, from what I saw, women were not allowed to speak in the church. I did that whole Jehovah's Witness thing, and during the Thursday night meeting, the men would speak up and they would address the entire congregation, and the women would sit at a little table and they would talk amongst themselves, and it was like a recorded conversation. Anyway, I never felt comfortable speaking that. But then the whore, when we call a woman a whore, you're bad, you are evil, you are, that's the lowest word I can call you. But of course we have other words now that we use, like cunt. I love cunt though. Cunt is sexy to me. But so think about your own feelings toward sexually open women, toward women that sell it, toward women that truly own their image, no matter what. I was speaking to someone about my course the other day, and they had mentioned, I could never do that. I don't have the body for that. And yet I see people doing what I do, and there's some of the women are as big as my couch, but they have this confidence, this I don't give a fuck, you're looking at me, I'm hot. They have this air about them. It just, seriously, I'm wow. I'm scrolling some good stuff. But so examine your own feelings, your own things towards your body. That's great that they do that, but I could never do that. And that, I feel when you can't see yourself in the other, it's boom, there's the block. Because I feel there's a way that you can see yourself in every story. There's a pattern. And when you can't see yourself in someone else's story, then it's a blind spot almost. That's why I feel I was so angry at my ex, because I couldn't see myself in his story. I just saw him as this domineering man that was just coming at me. And yet I realized that, there's a part of me in there too. But so again, look and see where you can't see yourself, and recognize yourself as a goddess, a person that is worshipped, a person that doesn't have to necessarily work, a person that doesn't have to grind and do and worry and with all of the tension. Look and see where you don't identify with that. And as you move through the material, because of course this is the pre-work video, but as you move through the material, I want you to really dig and really challenge and really accept what you see there, because you cannot move. Like I can tell you all of the things right now. I can literally tell you all the things right now. And yet you will not move from that point until you identify where you are and make peace with that first. Like, okay, I'm here. I don't know if you're familiar with Marie Kondo and how she, first when you try to organize your life and organize your clothes and your things, she'll have you take all of your clothes and like put them in a huge pile on the bed, all of them. So these people have like these huge mounds of clothes and they're like on the floor and they're everywhere. And everyone always is like, whoa, it's so overwhelming. But see, that's okay. And it's okay for it to be overwhelming. But you can't move. You can't put the clothes away and you can't sort out your life until you have it all right there in front of you. So identify where you really feel that I'm not a woman of luxury. I can't make my own schedule. All of these places, look at it in the face, write it down. Write it down, write it down. Doo-doo-doo. So yeah. Oh yeah, I wanted to discuss as well. So remember I had spoken about the menstrual blood and how it was used and it was sacred. Examine where in your life you look at your own bleeding as a hindrance, as something awful, as, oh my God, not this again. Look at that and look where you cannot identify yourself in the story of the sex priestesses. Have you ever heard about free bleeding, for instance? And this is where you don't put a pad, you don't put a tampon, you kind of just either put on big pants. They have new panties now, they're called things. You kind of just put on big pants or just like a big towel down and you just like bleed. You just let it all out. You know, you don't even try to clean it up. It's amazing. If you haven't tried it, I definitely recommend it. And at first I was like, ew, oh my God, you just let it go everywhere, you know, and all of the things that bubbled up with it. And then I really just sat with that. I'm like, why is that so uncomfortable? What did women do before? You know, back then that was the normal, was to just free bleed. So again, like as you dig through all of this material, just don't lie to yourself. Like really look at it and be like, wow, this is me. Like I really have these feelings. But yeah, put yourself in their shoes. Imagine yourself as a sex priestess. Imagine yourself honoring the gods and being revered and being called whore and having it be okay and having men just do whatever for you. Imagine yourself doing that. And I want you to start thinking about that now so that as we move through the program, it'll like blossom toward the end of it. You'll just be like, I love it. But yeah, really put yourself there. And as we started this talk off today with our hands on our pussies, remember that that is the seat of your power. If you ever have a question, you know how it's like, oh, I saw 11:11. Oh, I heard that song on the radio and it told me that this and this, and should I get these lottery numbers because I see them everywhere? Look, I'm one of them, okay? Look, I got a 37 and I got a 92, okay? I got the numbers. I get the number thing. And yet, they do not have to reach outside of you for any reason. It's right here. I swear to God, put your hand right there and ask inside. And just listen and just wait. And all of your answers will come to you. I love tarot cards. I used to read tarot cards. Like I said, I love the numbers. I love everything about it. And it made me feel good to look outside and be like, hey, you see me. But this doesn't need to see me. I need to see me. And seeing me is honoring this place that rests right between my legs. That's where my answers come from. That's where I decide. And it's not just like it's when I feel pleasure there. It's when I feel hot there. It's when I feel restriction there. And seriously, toward the end of my relationship with my husband, I was leaving him because I fell in love with a woman. She was so beautiful. Anyway, she was so beautiful. And I loved her mirror in my life because I would have never left him if I hadn't have known passion like that. And I remember I would always say to my ex-husband, like, I'll still fuck you. It's totally fine. Like, whatever. I'll just It's fine. But my pussy wouldn't open for him. Like, I would start laughing, and it would like literally, it would just be like, you couldn't even, no, it wasn't. It was closed. She was closed up shop. Couldn't even. And that's when I knew, like, I can't do this anymore. I can't do this with you anymore. And so I left. Because I would not have listened to my pussy any other way at this point in my life. Excuse me. She brings to you people and situations and opportunities for you to get your shit together. My sister was cursing her pussy the other day because she's pregnant. She called me actually right before this and was like, I think my water broke. So I almost canceled this, but I was like, just keep going. And she's like, I hate it. Like, why did she bring this awful person to me? Because they're not together. He ended up stealing a bunch of stuff. Like, she has to get a PPO on him. It's awful. Why did she do this to me? And I said, because you would have never learned to not fuck with dudes like that until she put you in this situation. And she will do it to you every time, okay? So it's better to listen to the pussy whisper and act on that than have to have a baby by a dude that will literally steal from you, that is schizophrenic, that has threatened your life, you and your baby's life. You would have never, ever, ever got it until you had that baby. Until you were like, no, like, you need to get the fuck out of my life. She is wise, and she is exacting. Exacting. Do not fuck with her. That's why we put our hands right here. That is your dark goddess, okay? That's her. She right here. You just put your hand on her and you ask her whatever. So written into the human psyche is the goddess. We've heard the stories of the goddess. We know the stories of the queens. We know all these things, right? So when we embody this and we put ourselves out there and we say, you can have access for a fee. Men will pay it. People will pay it. They will come from miles around and flock to you, okay? They will pay you for just being you. And that's why we're out here doing this, right? We need to be okay with this. So that leads me into the discussion of what the group is going to be about. So I split it up into two parts. I have the masculine aspect, which is the work. I love the work. I love the work and being busy and talking to people and making the sales and being sexy and taking pictures. I love it all. It's great. And there's a feminine aspect, which is the energetic, the feelings behind the doing. And this is the part that we have to like look at and touch and heal in order to move forward with the process. So right now, this is the pre-work. We're establishing our sex worker, how do we feel about sex work, how we feel. And there will be a written part, not under this, but, oh, actually it will be written under this because I'll post it in the group for the pre-work. And then also connecting the spirituality and the sexuality. So that's this whole video together. And what we're going to learn on the masculine side is we're going to identify what goddess you are, what kind of person you want to be, what kind of essence you want to give out. Because again, you have to start from where you're at. You have to start with an idea. And when you start with that one seed of an idea, it'll grow. The dominatrix that I am, the sex worker that I am today is not the sex worker that I was when I started when I was 19, even when I started back in July of last year. I'm different, but you have to start here. And that's where we're gonna put together the seed, the pre-work plus the week one. The second week for the feminine aspect, we're gonna so for the first week for the feminine aspect is we're tuning to the goddess frequency. So we're reviewing your history on what it means to be female. Who taught you all this? Well, I'll get more into the questions later, but it goes into your history of womanhood. Who taught you what you know? Where did you get it from? And we're going to connect again with our portal of divine creation. Hint, is she down there? So week 2, I talk about kinks and BDSM and cam. Oh my. Kinks and BDSM, because I know there's specific things that you can do. There's one thing to be a sex worker, that's cool. But when you can narrow it down and you can find something that like you're totally fine with, like feet, you can it's a more, I dare I say it, niche market. I help you develop that, figure out like what really would work well with you, and then you start making sales from there. So for the second week, we talk about pleasure in all forms. Why? Because when I tell you about the kinks and the BDSM, I want you to be real familiar with your sense of pleasure, what feels good to you. So when something comes up, you're like, ooh, yeah, that. When you get curious about it, curious, excited, scared, nailed it. So week 3, verification, external sites, all the links. Okay, that's where we get all the links. All of the links. I love me. So that's where you get literally 29 plus links. Actually, I have to add another one. So 30 plus links, whatever. However many links there are now. I give you all the links. Now, week 3, for the feminine aspect, we discuss priorities and you. Because you can get all the links, but when you reshuffle your life, we need to reassemble how we prioritize things. And so that we can help you be more, I don't want to say efficient, but just like, let's get it done, right? Week 4, we go lights, camera, action. We're literally placing the open sign. And in week 4, we talk about fear and expectations of the sex worker world. Where's your head at? What do you expect from this? What are you thinking? Week 5 is establishing limits, aftercare, and juicy video descriptions. Yummy, yummy, yummy. Because when we're talking about BDSM, when we come into the world as the goddess, people will call you goddess. And some men like to be told what to do, and it's important to be firm in how you handle them. So we talk about limits, we talk about aftercare, we talk about speaking up for what you want. In our society, we have not been told you can talk about what you want. Usually it's kind of just like the dude's like, I want to fuck. You're like, okay, I want to fuck. I want some money. We get you real comfortable with feeling that energy. Week 5, speaking your truth and the barriers involved. Week 6, sisterhood and social media, community standards, because it's always changing. Go over gossip. We go over networking, how to interact with the other people doing what you do. And in the feminine aspect, we go over connecting with other women, your history with this, and your future with this. I mean, sure, there's the present, but like how have you connected with women in the past? What kind of experiences are there? And also, like, where do you want to be? Where do you see yourself in the future having connections with women? One of the dearest sisterhoods I've ever entered into is that of a sex worker. It's almost like because society turns against you so much, you look at each other and it's like, I believe you. I believe you. Whatever you tell me, I believe you. And I promise you that, like, I will stick by you. No, sex worker, bet. It's just how it is. Of course, women can do whatever they want, and, you know, you take everyone as they come. But for the most part, it's a really solid sisterhood. And the 7th week, money management and credit healing. So what do you do with all this money you get? Because once you open up these floodgates, I tell you what, it's a lot of money. And a lot of times we just want to, this is my relationship with money. This is how I spent it, which is great. And let's learn a new way, all right? Money, abundance, allowing, these feelings. What do they mean to you? And how can we shift them to really allow, to really bring it in? But yeah, we get started on Friday the 14th, and I am so excited. I have filled this program with love. I've already ran it before. I know, well, I guess not this version of it, but I have so many feelings, so many positive feelings, and so much excitement. The people that are already in it are like, and I just cannot wait to share with them all of the visions and all of the prosperity and all of the good things that I have learned from doing this work. And honestly, honoring myself, because I'm awesome. First of all, my body is unique as fuck. And like, have you seen my face? Please. Literally all I have on right now is lipstick. Like, that's it. I have not done my eyebrows in 3.5, almost 4 years. Actually, 4 years probably this month. Yep. 4 years this month. I got a hairy ass chin. I got saggy ass titties. And I tell you what, I love it. Okay. But yeah, I'm doing myself so much good and so much justice. And I can carry this on. And it's not like this business like runs me. I run it. So I can take as many days off as I want. I can do what I want. And I can also do life coaching at the same time, and I can also be a mom and a partner and a chef and a laundry assistant and whatever I want. I take time off to be myself. I paint my nails. I go get my feet done. I love it. I do what I want. This job, this career, this path I've gone down has been so much to me, has brought so much to my life. And the sexy feels and the attention, I love the attention. And the money. And the money. It's been really great, and I cannot wait to share this with you. So the 14th, the spots are limited. Let's get in on it. I'll see you soon. So let's see. Can I unrecord now? Unrecord? No, stop. Just record it. Sometimes you just need permission. Like when you hear a story, it's like, wow, I really resonate with that. Wow, Lilith really was like, I'm not going to submit to you. The fuck? No, I'm not. Like, I'm not. So it's like, I can do that too, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I love it.
Yeah, I had never heard her story put in that way before, so it's definitely opened my eyes in a new way. I'm like, okay, yeah. I think you should just like upload this directly to Facebook.
Yeah.
Tell people you're going to take it down in like a week.
Okay.
I don't know. You follow your intuition, but it's just such good information in here. And I don't want it to be a situation where people don't get it because they don't know it's good. You know what I mean?
That's true. That's true. I should just post it. I was going to just post it, but I don't know. I wanted to like talk. I love talking. Also, I don't have any pants on.
I never
My
wear
power.
I love it. I think it's perfect. I think you're doing great.
Yeah, and like Rebecca, you've seen her posts recently. I feel like Rebecca's like channeling this information. I was like, Bradley, listen to this and do this stuff. I'm like, okay.
Do what she says. She's saying something, listen to her. Yeah, Rebecca's good. I love Rebecca. I know she was one of my first loves. She opened my content up beautifully. So yeah.
I feel it. She's great. She's super great. But yeah, I think that's all I have for you. Do you have any questions or anything?
No, you like did such a great job with everything, breaking it down. I'm gonna go take a look at your sales page, learn a little bit more. I mean, you're doing such great things. I'm so excited for you. This is gonna be beautiful. We're gonna get this in the hands of so many women. It's gonna be magical.
Right. Yay! Okay. Well, yeah. I think that's it. Well, you have a great day. I love my hair, by the way. My partner was like, I was like, babe, I wish I could put my hair all up like this. He's like, you can. I was like, how? He's like this. And I was like, oh.
Look at him teaching you some things.
No, his dreads are like down to here.
So
he always he puts his hair up like this, so it like cascades in front of his face. It's so sexy. Oh my God.
We glad you like it.
Right? I love him. But I hope I made some money. I love it. Oh, she just messaged me her thingy just now, her email. Whatever, we good. It's all good. I'm gonna just post it. You're right.
Take both. Take her email, put it on your list, and then still post it.
Yeah. Well, she's in the program. This is her pre-work.
Oh. Okay. Well, yeah, post it.
You take care.
You as well. Bye.
Meeting.